the end, it all comes down to evidence. Does India have the evidence that the men who attacked Bombay came from Pakistan, that they were recruited and trained and sent by Pakistan-based groups? Even now, 10 days after the attack, the war over the evidence continues to escalate. Even today, when the headlines were dominated by Pakistan's supposed promise that they would act against the Lashkar-e-Toiba, Pakistan clarified that they have made no such promise or no such deadline, and instead once again asked India to come up with evidence to back its claims. Well, at the center of India's evidence is, of course, Mohammed Ajmal Amir, who's also known to most as Qasab, though Qasab is his caste, so his real name should be Mohammed Ajmal Amir. But he's the terrorist who is in India's custody, and it's his story which nails any doubts about where these men came from. That story you may have heard or seen in bits and pieces in the newspapers and on TV, but here is the full definitive account of the making of Mohammed Ajmal Amir in his own words. First, just the coordinates, the details of where he actually stays and lives. His full name, of course, as we said, is Mohammad Ajmal Amir Qasab. His father is Mohammad Amir Imam Qasab, who runs a dahi puri stall. His mother's name is Noor-e-Tai. His address, the correct address, is the village of Faridkot, which is in Dipalpur Tehsil in Ukara district of the Punjab. He's given more personal details as well. The name of his uncle Nazir, who lives in the Lakhirpur road, and also another uncle, Manzoor, who's in Safawala Chowk, Lahore. Qasab has given details of his, right from his beginnings, his origins in many ways, of how he actually went on to become a terrorist. But he started off, he studied only until class 4 at a government primary school in his village. And he went to Lahore, he says, in 2000 after leaving that school. And then he went and stayed with his brother Afsal in Gully number 54, he says, in room number 12 of a mohalla which is near Yadgar Minar in Lahore. He says that he did different low-level labor jobs in different places till 2005, and in 2005 he had a quarrel with his father and left home. He then says he went to something called the Ali Hajweri Darbar at Lahore, at a home for runaway boys. And it's at this home that he stayed for some time. But it's also at this home for runaway boys that the turning point came, where Qasab met a man called Shafiq, with whom he worked, it seemed, at a restaurant doing some low-level work. Shafiq then introduced him to a man called Muzaffar, with whom he would enter a life of petty criminality, and that would be the first step towards becoming a terrorist. He says he came in contact with Muzaffar Lal Khan, a resident of Attak, and he decided to enter with him dacoity to make more money. They hired a flat at Bangash Colony in Rawalpindi. So they moved from Lahore to Rawalpindi, and it's there that they decided to need firearms for the jobs. And in search of the firearms, they saw some LET stalls at Raja Bazaar in Rawalpindi, and they decided to join the LET for weapons training, which they believed would be of help to them when they became dacoits. But of course, the story would take an entirely different twist after that. Well, all of this now, all these details of Qasab's origins and his antecedents have become crucial in establishing his identity as someone who's from Pakistan. And in fact, we're going to have on the line with us very shortly the journalist from the Observer newspaper, which is one of the many different foreign newspapers and journals that have actually gone to his village to establish his identity. The Observer, in fact, went to Faridkot and found in the electoral list Mohammed Amir, which established the fact that he is, they found details of his father there. They also found his national identity card, and they even met a man there, a villager, who says that the boy caught in Mumbai is from Faridkot. We knew that from the first night of the attack. He says, they said they brainwash our youth about jihad. There are people who do it in this village, and they say it is so wrong. The villager also said that Faridkot is active in recruiting the LET and that Qasab has not lived in Faridkot for 4 years. He visited his family only once a year, and apparently the villager claims, he told the Observer at least, that he talked of freeing Kashmir from Indian rule.